Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I got this in the mail the other day and I'm super excited about it. I have been wanting one of these tree peonies for a couple years now, ever since I first saw one. It is the plant that I knew I wanted. It's probably one of my favorite things in my neighbor's yard and in my yard that I can view. It's just so beautiful. And so they're really hard to find here. I have been hunting for a couple years. I've called around garden centers. They usually only have the herbaceous and the Ito peonies, which are a cross between the two. And I just couldn't ever really get my hands on a tree peony until I saw a video that Robbie from Visit Our Garden posted. He was at a garden show and Peony MD was there and they had tree peonies, and he came home with one and posted a video, and I was like, okay, if they're still available online, I will buy one. So it was a little bit spendy, but I went ahead and bought it, and I hope I can keep it alive. It looks really healthy though, and on the box it said plant now, and so I'm like, I know I need to quickly get this out here. But as you can see, we had a huge snowstorm yesterday. We had like 5 inches of snow. It's melted quite a bit today, and I've checked the spot where I'm going to put it, and it seems to be fine, and I'm just kind of anxious to get it in the ground because it sat out for a couple days. And these are kind of finicky. They don't really like to be moved around or messed with too much, so I'm sure it's kind of in shock, so I'm going to be really careful planting this up. So a few things about this tree peony. I picked this color. This is Rosy Sunshine. I tried to pick a color that was pretty similar to what my neighbor has. I don't know if it's the same variety or not because I have no idea what she has, but this is kind of the color of the blooms. They call this a maroon red. I hope it's more of this kind of purpley shade. The blooms on it are like 6 inches by 2 inches. They're just massive, and hers is gorgeous. If I have a video of hers, I'll try to include it. If not, I'll definitely film it this spring with one of my garden tours when it's blooming, so you guys can see it. I think these are good for zones 4 through 8, and so they do really good in my area. They like well-drained soil, but they do like to be a little moist. They just don't like wet feet, according to what Robbie has said about them. And his video was super helpful because I just watched it again because I knew I wanted to just do it right when I planted it. And I'll show you what we're going to do to plant it here in a minute. Another thing is, and I'll show you this graft as we get over there, but it's grafted on a herbaceous peony root. And so you definitely want to bury it deep. She has a ribbon tied to all hers where you bury it. So I'm going to bury it clear up here, and the graft is down below here. So the point is that eventually the herbaceous root will die off. And so if you get any growth out of the bottom, you want to make sure to trim that out and just let all this growth come on the old wood, because the tree peonies don't die back every year. They keep their woody stalk or their frame for the shrub, and they bloom off of the old wood. So like anything that blooms in spring on a woody shrub, you don't want to prune it until right after it blooms. But seriously, my neighbor does nothing to hers and it looks beautiful every year, but I'll try to take care of mine a little bit. They can get fairly large. I think they get to about 5 feet. So I think I have a good spot for it down by the creek. I want to plant it across from where my neighbor has hers across the creek, and I think it'll be so beautiful down there. And I have a spot that's kind of up on a slope, so it will be well draining. Hopefully it'll perform well for me because I did spend a little bit of money on this, but I think it's going to be worth it. I'll just make sure to baby it. So let's look down at the spot I'm going to plant it, and I'll give you a closer look at the graft and everything. Robbie did say that you want to try to find one, and he saw his in person. I just ordered mine in the mail, but you want to have at least 3 or 5 of these. This only has 2, but I'm sure it'll be okay. I wish it had 3 to 5, but I was kind of later on the ordering train, so I'm sure they kind of send out the best first and then the rest as you go. But it looks healthy. It's got little growth coming out of it, and we'll see that as we get close up. But let's get down there. I'll show you where I'm going to plant it and all the things that I have, and let's get this in the ground. I'm anxious to get it in there. I don't want it sitting on my counter anymore. Okay, so I just have some compost that I got. I really like this steer compost that I get at Home Depot, and I just put some in a bucket and I'll top dress it with that just to make sure it has a lot of good nutrients as it starts to get ready to bloom here this spring. I mean, hopefully I'll get some blooms. I might not this year. Peonies do kind of like acidic soils. I have alkaline, which is totally fine, but I am going to use this little bit of fertilizer in it, and this is good for any woody plants. You could probably even use rose tone or just plant tone. Rose tone's really good for woody shrubs too. And then I have some gloves, and then let me show you some herbaceous peonies that I picked up the other day because I'm really excited about those. Here's some examples of some herbaceous peonies. So they die back every year, so you can see where they died back last year, and then they grow up from the ground new every year. And I'm so excited about these, you guys. My relative's neighbor had these flowers and I was like, what are those? And I was surprised to find she said they were peonies. And I'm pretty sure they were these Jan von Leeuwen. And I grabbed 2 of them. I'm gonna put 2 in the front. I need to get these in pretty soon too. But I'm gonna plant them right next to each other. And I just think in the spring, like a massive white in the front is gonna be so pretty. And then I also picked up this bowl of beauty. I've been wanting one of these for a long time too. So these are examples of herbaceous peonies. And the ones that I have in the ground are just barely starting to sprout up. So it's getting to be that time, guys. We're getting close. But I just wanted to show you the difference because the tree peony is gonna grow up on the stem and you're not gonna cut it back or anything. You're just gonna leave it. And it will be like a woody shrub in the winter time, obviously, and not die back to the ground. Okay, let's go get this in the ground. So the creek's a little bit loud, but my neighbor, and there's stuff in it too that needs to be cleaned out. But my neighbor has that tree peony right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like right here. And I can see it just through the fence there. So gorgeous. So I'm hoping to put one here. So my other neighbors kind of cleaned this up, which is really nice because I do want to put some sprinklers in here, some drip lines, and plant some beautiful things along this creek and get some things that kind of hang over this retaining wall here. Piper, come. There's chickens over there that she knows. She's pretty good about staying in our yard, but she's thinking about going over there. Anyway, I want this to look a little nicer. I mean, this creek is awesome, but it definitely needs some work over here, and that's what I want to focus on the next couple of years, getting this area looking really nice with some plants and planting something to kind of hang over this side a little bit to maybe cover up that drain pipe of my neighbors and a few other things. But they've been working really hard about cleaning that up, and that's been really, really nice. So I thought it'd be nice to plant it here in this spot. You can see hers kind of hangs over, so it's up here and it's kind of hanging down over these rocks here like this, and it's really pretty how it hangs down. And so I think I can get it to do the same thing here. The only problem was when I was digging here, there's a lot of tree roots and the rock goes clear back to here, this big huge boulder. So I don't think that's a good spot. And this tree, I mean, we tried to save it from the front, but it's not saved, and I'm just ready to pull it out. And I think that will be a really good spot for it actually. So I think I'm gonna pull this tree out and put it here. I just think it'll be a better spot because we've already dug a hole there and there probably shouldn't be any tree roots in there. So hopefully that will be okay. And the soil, I was worried it would be super wet out here, but it's actually not too bad. It's actually pretty good. It's dried out a little bit today, even though we had so much snow. It's been kind of crazy. But yeah, so I'm gonna work on that now, and then we'll take the peony out and kind of look over it and talk about it, and then I'll get it in the ground. Okay, I moved away from the waterfall because it's just way too loud. Let's open this up. Okay, so here's the graft point you can see here. So, and then here's where they have tied a ribbon. So that's how deep I want to plant it. You just don't want this herbaceous side to completely take over. So if there is any new growth, I'll definitely cut it off around the base while leaving all this old growth out here. But look, it's got some really nice buds and a few really good growth points. So I think it's gonna be really happy, but I'm excited to get it in the ground. And then you wanna be careful. You don't wanna put any pressure on the bottom of these. So you wanna make sure it's kind of just sitting in there and not pressed down in, just to be really gentle with the plant. So let's go get it in the ground. Piper, did you get the zoomies? Scared me to death. I don't know if you saw Piper run through there, but I was like, oh, dang dog. Running over my little stick. I'm a little worried about this here. I might put something around it, like a cage or something to protect it, because it kind of just looks like sticks and I don't want my neighbors coming out here and doing anything, so I think I will. I think I'm gonna try to find a tomato cage. Hang on one second. Piper, get out. Okay, but first, look at it. I'm so excited. Doesn't look exciting now, but this new growth makes me so excited. I buried it right up to where they said there is this one right here, and I am gonna let that grow because I know it's off the side of this. The graft is quite a bit down there, so I'm just gonna remember, I'm gonna let that one grow because I think that'll be part of my woody growth. And then if any more pop up, then I will for sure cut those back. So looks good. It really is nothing. And it's not very pretty right here, but it will be pretty eventually when I get this area going. Yeah, I just like it. We'll see how good it is. I feel a lot better about that now. Piper knows not to run into it. People know to leave it alone and be careful with it. Obviously it doesn't need the support, but that'll just make me feel a lot better. I was careful when I put those in. I kind of pulled the spokes out wide so they wouldn't like dig into the root or anything, and it looks good. It's a little wonky, but I'm only going to keep it here for a little while.